What's up, Taurus? So we got a card that was pulled from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck by Adriana Ayales, and then we do the description and then the reading itself. Yeah. And the card here is Motherwort, which is strength, or with the subtext of strength. Strength, essence of creation, connecting to the creatrix within, fertility, birth, creativity, inner trust. The botanical name Leonoris cardiaca comes from the ancient Greek leon for lion, or ora for tail, referring to the plant's leaves, which resembles a lion's tail. Cardiaca pertains to both the herb's action on the heart. Cardiaca pertains to the herb's actions on the heart. As a whole, the name translates to lion-hearted, a term that speaks to the motherwort's actions on the physical cardiovascular system, emotional/spiritual heart, and the emotional/spiritual heart. The motherwort has a strong history of use in both Europe and Asia and is associated with aiding mothers and women. Many cultures have used motherwort to honor their goddess of fertility because of the herb's association with Venus and the moon. It was considered a protective plant, especially useful in spells to guard pregnant women and their unborn children from envy or evil air. It was often planted around the home or hung from doorways, as it was said to keep away unwanted guests, both physical and supernatural. Motherwort was either smoked or burned to use for smoke cleansing, as it would drive bad spirits out of the house. Many species of motherwort were used for heart's protection and for counter magic to reverse a curse. Japanese folklore tells of a town where the main water source was a stream filled by rainwater trickling through the hills of motherwort. The inhabitants of the village drank daily from the stream and were bestowed with extraordinarily long life, up to 130 years old. Ancient Greeks used motherwort to treat anxiety, depression, heart palpitations, and nervousness in pregnant women. In traditional Chinese medicine, motherwort is used to invigorate the blood. Like the radiance of the lion, this is the guidance portion. Like the radiance of the lion's heart, motherwort's energy builds inner trust and confidence. Lion-hearted motherwort is a representative of beauty we possess and when we own the power of our gifts and creativity. The goddess sits centered as the lion leans on her in a state of peaceful delight, symbolizing the unwavering faith we must keep as we transcend old fears. Venus, her planetary ruler, is like a midwife to our happiness, channeling how we accept and transmit our heart's desires. Find new ways to facilitate creativity that honor and reveal your passions and strength. Devote yourself to the fertility of your gifts and courageously accept your divine destiny. So, first, I got this is a really cool scene from a story that I'm working on now, or that I'm going to work on in the future. Not that I'm actually writing it right now, but it's brewing, and in the background noise. But with this particular story, I'm going to tell you guys a story just because it came up, and I was like, I actually thought it was really nice to maybe tell you guys. Maybe you can get a message out of it. But this idea of the story itself, it was a husband and a wife are, in a delivery room, and they're getting basically, they're having this particular they're about to go through this childbirth or whatever, and it's taking place soon. And what's crazy, or what's really about this particular scene, is the mother has brothers that wanted to come and visit the actual, or wanted to come, to the, the actual place or whatever, but the father was hesitant because he doesn't really like the brothers. The brothers seem a bit too rough around the edges for some reason. But they do come to the delivery, and the father at some point in the delivery, they decided to, rather than be in the room with them, they decided to sit outside. And at some point the father feels something, and and the mother's just she's just taken out. Basically, she's just kind of worried about the actual delivery itself. She's focused on it, but the father, he gets kind of snagged by this feeling of for some reason he wants to check outside, and he goes he steps out to the door with the brothers and the family, the brothers of the wife, and he sees that there's a lot of entities, or we'll say, I guess, demonic entities that wanted the baby, dark entities that wanted, to have impact on the actual birth of the baby itself. And when the brothers, they are there as a shield for that. And so he goes out and he sees these very monstrous things, these entities try to basically being held at bay by the shield, and the brothers are sitting there, and they're relaxed. They're relaxed as if nothing's happening, because they know that really, or they have an understanding that nobody can see it, but when they see him and they notice that he can see what they're doing, and they just kind of laugh and just continue about, like they're worried about something else, or like they're just chopping it up. But it was a scene right there in terms of that idea of what the concept is. Well, there's a lot of lessons that you can draw from that particular story, so I'll let it kind of marinate with you guys. But in terms of strength, you should most certainly understand that we're just going to, I feel like it's going to be a hard jump, but I really want you guys to realize that creativity is a strength. It's a very real strength, and that is very much important, and going to be very much important today in terms of how we use that. So this idea of being in the element of harnessing strength in the creative field in general. If you do have that for any reason, maybe you are being really called to use that idea of what strength is. Very interesting in terms of how people can really choose to live today, and just really how much pressure society is putting on whatever you might choose to do. There's also a segment that a collective segment, to where I talk about how really the warriors of today may not look like the warriors of ancient, or the soldiers we sent to war, and or that went to war in the U.S. or whatever, holding weapons, guns, or whatever. There's a tremendous focus on this idea of what it means, and how we can use strength today. This idea of what it means to protect or guard the pregnant women and pregnant people. We have to protect the next generation. right? This this is going back to the collective a little bit again. So definitely watch that. But you should understand that we're not doing this for, for just ourselves right now. Okay, this is a legacy building experience this lifetime, particularly now, I would say. The concept around the Renaissance is that this particular period is going to be very much important and very much dictate a lot, and it's going to echo into the future, whatever comes out today. Like, I would say, no generation before. Honestly, that's my particular take on it. So we have to do something, and very important to do something now. And when it comes down to our heart, there's a meditation. I think it's by, I want to say maybe not Greg Harden. Okay, so I'll go over the actual meditative kind of understanding, and maybe you guys can find it from there, because I don't remember it verbatim, but I'm gonna try. And anyway, the idea was you have this meditation in particular focuses on 3 particular energy centers, right? So the sacral center, the heart center, and also the third eye. So what you do is you take your index and your middle finger, just kind of, it looks like, just holding up kind of a closed peace sign, and you go to these particular centers, and you breathe and you meditate, and you feel until you should be able to at some point feel a pulse emanating from these particular centers. Some of you maybe really gain something out of particularly the heart center in general. So that's kind of the meditation in terms of, that's the broad stroke of the meditation. And that right there, I think, was something that I particularly liked when I was sitting down and I needed to actually focus on meditation for a segment of the day. And and that's something that I still am pro meditation. I just meditate throughout the day. Whenever I'm waiting in line, whenever I find myself, being dragged away by the meat suit in any way, I come back to that meditation, or that breathing, and that guidance or just the idea of really just emotional control in general. I try to, use what I've really honed in terms of those meditative practices throughout the rest of my day. And believe me, you take the time. Don't think that you can just skip the practices in general. Take the time to really gain that spiritual, that baseline, we'll say, that emotional baseline, we'll call it. But in any case, that right there is the I'm gonna cut it there, because I feel like that was that's kind of, I may have I feel like I threw you guys a loophole with that story. But if anything, I will see you next week. So enjoy your week. Thank you.